Before we get into today's episode, I want to tell you about something I'm building live with practices this fall. Maybe your team's running on memory. Someone's always asking what's next, who owns it, where to find it. You're the answer to every question because nothing lives anywhere central. Or maybe you just always wanted to get organized in Asana and it just felt too big to start on your own. Either way, this is exactly why I built Asana Unlocked. 4 live Fridays starting August 21st, we build your entire practice operating system together inside your actual Asana account in real time. Week 1, we build your foundation and your full team task library. Week 2, we build team communication systems. Week 3, we build onboarding and offboarding and your SOPs. Week 4, we build your marketing and referral systems and learn Asana AI together. Every session is recorded if you can't make it, and the investment is for your entire practice. This is not per person. Early bird pricing ends August 14th. Grab the link in the show notes or head to discovereverbloom.com/Asana Unlocked. Okay, now let's get into it. Welcome to the Bloom Effect. I'm your host, Cassie Kellner, former chairside assistant turned team coach and founder of Everbloom. This podcast is all about the real stuff, honest combos, leadership lessons, and the heart behind thriving orthodontic teams. If you're ready to grow, lead, and bloom, let's dive in. We've been on vacation, by the way. For those of you that are serious listeners, we took a little seasonal break. We're back. We're officially back, and we're kicking this thing off with Dr. Sable Staller. Sable, welcome.
Thank you. So happy to be here again.
Again, right? Okay, so Sable and I have a story to tell. We weren't going to tell this story because it wasn't supposed to happen, but it did. And so Sable lives in New York, in Manhattan. Shout out Upper East Side Ortho.
Yes.
I live in Connecticut. And so when we do podcasts together, this is our second one, we do it in person, right? And so the podcast studio that I rent, which is like gorgeous, by the way,
it's beautiful.
One's in Midtown. Look, I'm already going to mess it up. We're not surprised. One's in Midtown. One's in Soho. Yeah? Am I messing this up?
No, that's perfect.
Okay. And I rented one in Midtown, and Sable went to Midtown, but I went to Soho. And the Canada fires were deep in on the East Coast, right?
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of like extra traffic in New York.
A ton, like triple.
And we missed our podcast. So you are catching us.
Yes.
Remotely.
But it's okay.
We did hang out. We did.
You had some crazy Soho stories. I don't know if anyone has been to Canal Street here. It's like an iconic street for selling handbags, but you saw some crazy stuff.
Listen, okay, so I'm just going to tell it because it's so funny. So I end up on Canal Street. I've never been to Canal Street. I know about Canal Street. Listeners, if you've ever been to Canal Street, you can relate, but it was bananas. Also, I should have gotten a Gucci purse while I was there. Let's get real, but I didn't because I was like, oh my gosh, I missed this, I've never seen anything like it, Sable. I couldn't even walk.
Yeah, that's insane. I didn't realize how popular it was. I think all the tourists were just on Canal Street at that exact moment.
I couldn't get a taxi to go to you. I had to walk a few blocks to get out of the chaos. I told you the story, but this is a crazy one. Also, in the middle of the intersection, while the light was red, there was a police officer who was waiting on traffic in an Explorer SUV. There's 2 police officers. And I watched a man who was in the back of the car getting arrested. He had handcuffs. I watched him slither through the back seat, the back window, out of the car. And then 2 police officers jump out of the car and throw him down and get him back into the car because he's legitimately trying to escape.
Did he go, I forget, head first out of the window or feet first? Head first?
Head first.
That's
head first.
insane.
And like people were like, whoa, is that? Because there were so many people
Yeah.
that they were like, whoa, he's getting out. And then like people were laughing because like he actually got out of the car.
Yeah, I feel like if it wasn't a busy street, he may have actually gotten away.
Right? He took off like right. He was like, "Oh, this is it. I'm free,"
This is my
and he
moment.
wasn't.
Yeah. I'm
It's
happy.
so
I'm happy.
wild.
At least he tried.
I
You should
know.
drop the footage because didn't you get? Well, you got like the tail end
At
of
the
it.
very end, I was like a full Karen because I could not stop laughing. Like they obviously got him back and he was fine, but like even the officers couldn't believe that he slithered out.
Yeah.
Like legitimately got
Yeah.
out. He was not a small man. I don't know. Anyway, I was living a real, true New York moment.
Yeah, you really did.
And then we met and had drinks.
It was great. You got to see Soho House. It was
Listen,
amazing.
can we talk about that too?
Yeah.
Because like I walked in, I was like, be cool, be cool. Like I saw you scan something all exclusive. And then we sat down. And thank God you told me that you're not allowed to take photos because I would have been just straight paparazzi in there.
Yes.
It was just like, I was like, who am I going to see a real house? Like, who am I going to see?
Maybe. Yeah, I wish we saw someone famous.
I know.
But
And maybe there were famous people. I just didn't see them.
yeah, I think probably we just didn't. It's hard to tell sometimes. And everyone's like,
Yeah,
we said this, everyone's kind of looking at each other there,
totally.
like
Who
sizing
are
each other
you?
up. Yeah, like, who are
What do you
you?
do? And also, we are very tall women. So when
Yeah.
we walk in, there's like power there, which I like love, you
Yeah.
know?
People always stare.
And so they're like, who are these girls? Like, who, anyway, it was a day. And then we had the most fabulous dinner with cauliflower covered in Takis. Let's get real.
Yes.
All the things. And we were supposed to do our pod and we didn't, but we're here.
We
And
made it.
we've got things to talk about, like
Absolutely.
big things.
A lot of things. A lot to
Okay.
catch up on.
So let's start with a few things. I have to talk about your live because I was on your live.
Yes. My Taylor
Okay.
Swift live. The best day ever.
So tell everyone about this.
Okay, so backstory. The week that Taylor Swift gets married, I hurt my knee in tennis and I like cannot walk. I'm Ubering to work. I'm like scootering around the office. And so she gets married that Friday. I get home from work that Thursday and I see a tent is up at MSG and I live on the same street as MSG so I can see everything. And so I made a video just being like, "Oh my gosh, I think Taylor Swift's wedding rehearsal is happening right now. This is crazy." And I posted it on Instagram. And then I woke up and all these, like, I gained, it was either 100 followers or 1,000, I think 100. And I was like, oh, people are into this. And so then I text my best friend and there was a bigger tent up when I woke up. And I'm like, oh my God, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding is happening today, right
Like, this
outside
is
my
real.
apartment. Yes. And I'm like, I can't walk. I might as well live stream this. And so I went live at like noon and put videos out everywhere, just being like, follow me on Instagram, Braces by Sable, and just live stream the whole thing. You couldn't see anything. You could just see the tent where people were arriving. But I think it gained so much traction because people didn't really believe that she was actually getting married at MSG.
Sure.
And even when we were watching it happen and watching cars come in and drop people off, people like still didn't believe it. So it just created this insane thing. And so many people watched. It was really cool.
Okay, so I watched. And I was like waiting, right? And then
Yes.
I wasn't because like I had to go to sleep. But
Yes.
it was so incredible. And I think that leads back to your absolute brilliance when it comes to social. We talked about this in the first pod. So those of you who have not listened to the first podcast, do yourself a favor and find that, because we really do talk about social media being super crazy, authentic on social, all the things. And I think you talked about this so beautifully on the first podcast too, about how you're like, hey, you don't have to go out and buy all the fancy things. Like it doesn't have to be this big, massive production.
No, absolutely not. social media should be easy. It doesn't need to be all these different lights you've never seen before and don't know where to buy, and all this fancy equipment, all these fancy microphones. You really just need your phone and good lighting, whether you're sitting in front of a window, and something to prop your phone off of. So I think, like, for me, for that live, I literally took my iPad, put it I leaned it up against my window with a blanket underneath in case it fell, and I pressed go for the live. Like, we don't have to work with all this fancy equipment. And I'm just so passionate about trying to make social media easy, especially for doctors who are busy and don't really know where to start. It should be easy and attainable for everyone. And so just trying to show people that it's not scary, and you can do some crazy things. You can tape your phone up if you need to, anything to make the content that you want to make.
Totally. It's really interesting. And you talk about it so well too, about how just uh being able to do these things simply with a phone and not having and investing all this money, or investing money in individuals to be able to go in and make your edits, or like understanding the algorithm is the algorithm. Let's get real. Like, that thing is crazy.
Yeah.
But to actually put out content, that's like the easiest part. You just actually have to show up. Think about all the things that we're watching that are not Hollywood production.
Yeah, absolutely. And people love like the real raw versions. I love watching videos of people just talking to me about their lives or their day. I'm like, this is fascinating.
Right?
And so being able to do stuff like that, you don't need this big production. And you also, I think, just breaking down the barrier to show how easy it actually is, and just getting past that hump of like, okay, this is exactly what I do. Now I can go do this and I can go make it my own, is like the biggest hurdle, especially when you're a doctor, you have a family, you have a busy life, and you want to do something, but sitting down in like a quiet space and actually trying to figure something out can be so hard sometimes. And so once you can get over that hurdle, it
Mm-hmm.
makes it so easy.
Totally. I think it's interesting too, as you're saying this, like, just from a social media perspective, people start social media accounts, or they're like, I only have 300 views. And I heard this, I think Gary Vee was probably he's so crazy, but I follow him, and I actually love him. But he talks about, like, listen, think about yourself getting on a stage and talking to 300 people.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so
Like,
many
you're
people.
still hitting 300 individuals, because just because you didn't get 6,000, 10,000, 2,000, like, you're still resonating with someone, and like, you can always pivot. I think that's also the beauty in social, is that you can kind of pivot. And so that kind of brings me to the question. I'm also so curious. You are an orthodontist,
Yeah.
a damn good orthodontist.
Oh,
You
thank you.
are an influencer. Let's get real. You live that influencer life, right? I'm sure that
I'll
makes you
take it.
uncomfortable, but you are. You are. And so, like, where do you draw the line? Was there a line, and then you were like, screw it, there is no line? Like, what did that look like?
Yeah, I think the beauty of it is, yeah, you can always move the goalpost. You can always change the line. You can always go too far and then bring it back. It's whatever you want it to be. I started out when I was in residency, and so I really was just posting braces content because the Bentist was going viral at the time, and I'm like, oh, I this is a niche
Yeah.
that I have that I could like talk about. Um, and then when I graduated residency, I was in Puerto Rico with my mom, and I Raising Cane's was going really viral at that moment for the sauce that they have. It's delicious, but it's like sodium warning out through the roof, but so good. And I saw a video of a cup of Raising Cane sauce and someone dipping a chicken finger in, and I was like, oh, I want to make a video doing that. And I remember being like, should I post this? It's not braces content. And then I remember just being like, no one I know is really on this app yet. Like, I can post whatever I want. So I posted that video to a fun sound of me just oh my gosh, I can't talk today. Clip that part. Sorry.
Okay.
I posted a video of me just dunking the chicken finger in sauce, and it got so many views. I gained like 20,000 followers from it. And me and my mom were just on vacation, like, what is happening right now? And so that was kind of the first moment where I was like, I don't have to post just braces content. I can do funny videos, or I can share more about my life. And then from there, I feel like I slowly started to add more things about my life, whether it was on vacation or with my
Yeah.
boyfriend, or just things I've learned as an orthodontist, like on the back end that maybe patients don't see, and student loans. So the Raising Cane's video, and then the Taylor Swift live, which was almost 6 years later, 5 years later, gave me a huge bump in followers on Instagram. It went from like 9,000 to now 25,000, which is a huge deal on Instagram because it is so hard to grow
Huge.
on there. And
Yeah.
I think I lost less than 1,000 from the live, which is so cool because all these people came for the Taylor Swift wedding, and then they stayed for
For
me and my
you.
content. And I think that's so
Yeah.
cool. But I would not have been able to do that if I hadn't put in the time and effort all these years. I was almost ready for that
Yeah.
moment to be like, okay, now how do I show these new people who I am, what my day looks
Yes.
like, how I can help them, and why they should stay and watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's wild too is like we talk about like the balance. I am finding for me, I'm losing a little bit of my balance when it comes to my social, because it's hard for me to be a business owner, have a social media account, and have a personal social media account. So it's starting to kind of all blend
Yeah.
and be muddy, and I think that's okay. I'm starting to kind of be less I won't say less business Cassie, but I'm both business Cassie, mom and wife Cassie, all in the same in my Bloom with Cassie account now. I've kind of shifted,
Yeah.
and it's actually been really fun and freeing almost to show all sides. And that brings me to the trust factor, because we talked about this at dinner,
Yeah.
people know about you before you come into your practice. Like, you are getting, how many new patients are you getting just based on your socials?
Yeah. So, I mean, it really started to take off this last January. I think I walked into the office, and at the end of the month, we had 15 new patients from just TikTok alone, just saying, oh, they found me on TikTok. And then every month since, it's been basically the same, some months more. And it's just so crazy that I feel like marketing, especially like, people in marketing tell you like, oh, you can't track TikTok. Oh, you don't get patients from TikTok. And I'm over here like living proof. No, like they're all over there. Like, get on TikTok and start teaching people, or just showing them who you are as a person and as a doctor, and they will come see you because it's so nice. I feel like when you go to a doctor, you don't know what to expect. I just went to a doctor and I had no idea. I knew nothing about him, and it made me nervous.
Yeah.
And before people come see me, if they find me online, they've already watched my videos. They already maybe have watched a video where they're going to ask a question because it relates to them. They already know about me. They know I'm a good person, a nice person. They know I'll sit down and talk to them and answer all their questions. And I feel like that is the biggest barrier with healthcare is patients are scared they're not going to have that experience.
Of
And so if you can
course.
just break that down before they get there, and then you've already won, and it's a super easy consult, it's a super easy relationship moving forward because they want to know about your life, they want to update you on theirs, and they trust you with their care.
It's really wild. I think, they know about you prior to coming in. The trust is there. They've
Yeah.
been watching behind the scenes, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, we're ready to go. And like, you're just talking about treatment at this point. You
Yep.
you almost have a relationship before they walk in, which is like such a actually foreign thing to think about. 10 years ago, we couldn't have said that.
No, absolutely not. Like when I was in dental school, this was not even talked about. No one ever talked about this. It was not a thing at all. Like it's so foreign. And so I think once it happens to you once, it kind of is like, oh, this is so nice. It was such a pleasant experience. This person almost cares about you, and you also care about
Yeah.
them. And just to almost have like the relationship is a little bit different. You don't have to be friends. I
Yeah.
feel like everyone that comes in kind of respects that almost, but you can become
Sure.
friends. But there's still a line there of like, okay, like doctor patient, but it just makes it so nice to come to work and people trust you when they get there. You're not trying to explain to them that you know what you're doing. You're more just explaining
Mhm.
to them how you're going to give them the best care. And so I think it really reframes, especially for dentists and orthodontists, that can happen a lot with,
Mhm.
maybe sometimes we get a bad rap that we're just trying to like sell you on something. And that's
Yeah.
not usually not the case ever. So it's more just about how can we give you the best care now versus trying to explain why you may know something or why this is the best option. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. Can we talk about this algorithm? Like,
Yes, it's
is
tough.
it algorithm? Is it luck? Like, you've grown on these platforms. Is it authenticity? Is it trust? What is it?
Yeah, I will say the algorithm is here to humble you. It is here to
It's
just
so true.
it
It
is
is
not
so
yeah.
true.
It's not here to make you feel good, and if it does, it's just waiting to just knock you right on your feet or on your
Yep, ups
yeah.
and downs.
Yes.
It's like ups and downs. It's bananas.
Yeah, and also if you're posting on TikTok and Instagram, I know there are other platforms, so just focusing on those two. They're both
Yeah.
so different where I'll have a video do 100,000 views on Instagram and then I'll have it do 600 views on TikTok because the people consuming the content are also different age demographics at the end of the
Mm,
day. There are way younger people on TikTok. And I would say the age demographic on Instagram is a little bit older, just in
sure.
general. And
Yep.
so things perform so differently. You have to just really study your content, study other creators' content that you like, try to emulate it. You're allowed to take their ideas. If you feel awkward about that, just say the video was inspired by them and tag them. It's not that deep at the
Mm,
end of the day. It's really not.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, and just knowing that you have to keep going. Every time that I felt like I needed to give up on social media, something really cool happened where I either made a cool connection or a video really took off and I gained followers and new friends or new patients. And so every time you're about to give up on there, I feel like you're rewarded. And I feel like it's almost a good life lesson I feel like I've learned through social media is to just keep
Yeah.
going because you literally never know what's going to happen the next day. That Taylor Swift live like changed my life on Instagram as crazy as that may seem. And it like wouldn't have happened if I gave up or if I was just sitting there like, woe is me, I can't walk. I was like, no, let's do something. So
Oh gosh, it's so true. It's really I'm fascinated by it. Truly, just marketing in general,
yeah,
branding, marketing, socials, all of it. Like it's I think the creative side in me like really nerds out on this stuff. I don't
yeah,
teach it. I don't want to teach it, but I love it, and I'm so fascinated, and I do think that there's so much still to learn. I would say, and I'm
yeah.
curious how you feel for people who are nervous, like just start.
Yeah, just start. If you're
Just
nervous,
show up.
just create a profile and then come back to it in a week and then be like, okay, what video, like just pick a video, make it. You can do
I
it on
know.
private first, but you need to start. If I went back, if we go look at my first videos, they are so cringy, but I keep them up because you know what? Well, like
Totally.
they're so cringy. And you know what? No
Mine
shame.
too.
And I feel like, if you're worried about your colleagues, like making fun of you or not thinking that you're qualified by making content, that's just not true. If they are also posting, they are not going to think that of you. And if they aren't
But
post,
and if they do,
who cares? Who
yeah.
cares? It's not their journey.
Like no.
Yeah.
Who cares? Like truly, I don't know. Maybe Sable because I swear to you I hit 40 and I was just like, "You know what?
Yeah.
just do all the things. Like throw everything at the wall. Let's see what sticks. And like this is its own journey. I don't know. I just feel like I think people have to be showing up in this way. And I have a niece. She's in her 20s. I'm telling you right now, that girl's not going to anyone's website.
Yeah. No.
She's going straight to their socials.
Yep.
She went to apply to a position and she's like, oh yeah, I looked on their social media. It looks like there's so much fun. She didn't go to the website. I go, well,
Yes.
and I asked her because I was so shocked. And she works in ortho. And I was like, did you go to their website? And she's like, no.
Yeah. Is it crazy?
It's like, it's wild.
Yes.
So your website and your socials better emulate one another. Like you can't have really good socials with a horrible website, and you can't have a horrible website and really like you can't do it.
No, and I ask people too to do this thought exercise, like go through and see, okay, if you're going to check out a restaurant or a doctor, what steps do you take to be like, to finally be like, I'm going to see this person? And then I want you to ask someone younger than you, someone older than you. Every single person is going to have such a different answer, but as they get younger, their answer is going to include a lot more social media. They may not even Google. They probably won't even look at the website. The doctor I saw didn't even look at the website before I went. I feel like my age, 33 and younger, is kind of on that cusp of just fully being on social media. And so I think it's a good exercise because I do think a lot of offices are so focused on their website looking good, which it does. But at the same time, I would say I care way less about your website and more on your social media of just seeing who I'm going to see in the office. Sure, I want to know that they're credentialed and people trust them, but I that's how I personally feel when I'm going to someone. I'm checking Instagram, I'm checking TikTok, I'm checking certain things like that, which sounds
Totally.
crazy, but it's just the
No.
truth. And so if you're going to pay someone like $30,000 to make your website and pay them monthly, I would think it hard about who your demographic is and who you're trying to reach, because it could be maybe you don't need to be spending that much and putting money
Absolutely.
elsewhere, or learning more social media yourself and not spending all of that money.
Absolutely. Okay, back to what you said about the restaurant. Like if you're going
Yes,
somewhere, immediately I'm going to Instagram.
absolutely.
Without a doubt. It's
Every single
Instagram.
Yep. I actually go to TikTok first now, and then I go to Instagram to look at any photos that I want to see. But
Mm,
yes, I don't ever go to the website. And
mm-mm.
maybe if I want to look at the menu, but I usually just will look at photos and videos.
Me too. I want to see pictures of the food.
Yes, yes.
It's oh my gosh, it's bananas. Okay. All right, we're going to switch gears here. Are you ready? We're going to talk about disc.
Oh, yes. So excited.
Okay. All right. Here we go. As everybody listening, if you do not know this, in 2020, the world was a dumpster fire. I was a clinical systems consultant at the time, working for a large orthodontic consulting firm. And in 2020, I realized via Zoom, I was a consultant / therapist, and I have no business being a therapist, but people needed more connection. Everyone was incredibly disconnected. The world was on fire. And I found I needed to find something more that I could like get to the root of what was happening in practices so people could speak the same language. Went down a rabbit hole, and here comes DISC. There are many behavior assessments that you guys can take out there. This is my all-time favorite because I think it's so incredibly simple. So Sable and I talked about DISC on our
Yes.
last pod, and we actually had her take a DISC assessment, and we're going to talk about where she landed. Okay, so we have four. We have four styles. We have DISC. D, dominance. I, influence. S, steadiness. And C is for conscientiousness. Sable, where did you land?
I'm an IS through and through.
I was like, if she's not an I, we're gonna get down to it because you show up as an I.
Yeah.
So, had you taken something like this before?
I'd taken it, yes, one other time. I'm in a leadership course with my office, And so they had us take the DISC assessment, and I also was an IS. And so I was excited to take it again because I'm like, maybe
Yeah.
it was just my mood that day. Maybe I'm going to be a
Yeah.
different one. Literally exact same spot on the DISC. So, which I thought was really funny.
Yeah.
So super accurate.
Absolutely. Okay. So tell me, when you read a little bit of your report, it's very long and we didn't do a full
Yeah.
disc workshop with you.
Yes.
But tell me a little bit about when you read the I. I is for influence. So let me explain to everyone what an I is. An I is influence, cheerleader, is first, can speak up, has no problem showing up. Also, okay, so full disclosure to everyone, I'm also an I. I'm not an IS, I'm a high I.
Yep.
You will have conversations with strangers and just like divulge information about your life. Like that doesn't make you uncomfortable, right? Like you're
No.
like, yeah, I want to know everything and you tell me everything and this is great,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So that's like where an I lands. Also, some of the characteristics of an I are we are impulsive by nature.
Yeah.
We don't, and by the way, you don't have to fall into this full bucket, but this is what the I is. You're impulsive by nature. We tend to make mistakes because we can't get bogged down for way too long on one thing. At some point, we're like, ugh, okay, I'm done. Send it. And
Mm-hmm.
there can be mistakes in there, to where like a C, they are so dialed in that conscientiousness, they are like analytical. They rarely make mistakes because they take so long doing what they're doing, to make sure they get it right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then an S is steadiness. Like when things get incredibly chaotic or dramatic, or you feel tension, like you're like, no, 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 this is not for me.
Absolutely.
True.
Yes. I'm like, I'm
Okay.
done here.
And then let's go to D since we're doing all four of them. D is dominance.
Yep.
I think people fall in D when I host disc workshops. They tend to get a little uncomfortable because I think that D personalities feel insecure that they're like a dominant person. They think it makes them sound mean or rude, and that is not it. You need Ds in your life. So all the Ds out there who have ever gotten this, you are not bad. And the reality is that you have all four of these things. You just fall heavier in one or two categories. But D's are no BS. Like
Yep.
they can give it to you straight. They're not crazy emotional. They may feel it internally, but they're not outwardly going to cry in front of everyone. They may cry alone in their car if they feel the need to, but they are also impulsive by nature. So they're
Yep.
like, yes, this is great. Let's do it. Right. Okay. So D, I, S, and C, we've gone through all the things. Tell me how you see yourself showing up as an IS on the daily.
Yeah. So I think, I want to create like a workplace that's happy and positive, a place for people to like work on themselves. And like, I really focus on my team members being happy because, in my eyes, if they're happy, then they'll want to work there and they'll want to work harder or make adjustments to how we need. So I feel like when I go to work, I really try to make it a happy environment, and just getting to know my patients, my coworkers, and everything. And I also feel like I'm very positive. I also don't love chaos, so something kind of touch that on with an S. I tend to just be like very reserved if that happens, and be like, I don't know how I'm gonna get out of this, or we'll figure it out. But I
Right?
kind of get like reserved in those moments, which I find interesting
Yeah,
because it's not necessarily my personality, I would think, but which I do find interesting that happens. But yeah,
totally. So how do you do
yeah.
with confrontation?
Um, so I try to avoid, so this is actually what I'm working on because I try to avoid uncomfortable conversations as an
Yes.
IS. That's like, I think that's one of the main things, right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah. So, and it's funny, I work with someone who's a D. And so I really learned a lot about communication through that because I don't communicate directly like that. And I started to realize communicating directly is not rude. Kind of talked about that.
Yeah,
That's
Sable.
just how someone communicates. I tend to like to sugarcoat things or like give someone a few chances before I explain to them maybe, hey, like that's not how I want this done. Um, and I think I've learned recently that, being direct and communicating your needs is important because it helps people understand what they're supposed to be doing. But to me, it can come off like, oh, they're not doing a good job, even though maybe they just did this one thing wrong, or I don't
Mm,
want to hurt their feelings, or I don't want them to create an environment where they don't feel like they belong because I told them maybe they didn't like properly set up for a patient or something. And so it's funny because that's exactly where my brain goes is like, oh, I'm going to have to tell them that they should do this next time instead because it'll help me. And recently I realized, no, that's just it's harder for me now instead of just saying exactly what I need to say. But it
yes.
doesn't roll off the tongue. For me, I'm more like, let's keep the
Yeah.
positive vibes going. And it's not always like that. And it's okay.
Yeah. I agree with you. Having uncomfortable conversations makes me incredibly uncomfortable. I will do it because I have to do it. But I think that's the whole point of the shading when it comes to disc as well, is you are all four things, but picture a rubber band in the middle of that wheel.
Hmm.
Think about how far you have to stretch to certain characteristics, behaviors, styles, and then you can get there, but you're really uncomfortable and you're going to swing back to your comfort zone very quickly. So it's so true.
Yes, yes. So if I ever have to have an uncomfortable conversation now, I try to just do it immediately, not in front of other people. But I think I used to let it linger, and then I would somehow make it be like, oh, well, it's my fault. I could have done this better. And I'm like, no, you just need to say
Mm,
it as quickly as possible in an environment where someone feels comfortable, and then you move on. But if I have to do that, I definitely snap right back into like IS, like, woo, everyone's
yes.
happy, trying to
Right?
just
It's like
like,
you're like it's like a boomerang. Boop, I got to go have this conversation. I'm coming right back.
yes,
Like,
yes.
yeah, and it's funny. So, I's and S's, C's as well. I mean, this is just human nature, but like start to create stories in their
Yes.
heads about because they're not outright saying what they need to say, that then they run it back. And then they run it back. And it's like
Yes.
constantly running back in their brain instead of getting it outright. D's don't live that life.
Yep.
They're like, let me tell you, we can move forward then.
Yes. Yes. And so, yeah, and that's what I've learned working with a D. He tells me he moves on and fine. And I'm like stewing, like, oh, like it's very interesting.
Yes.
But it has taught me a lot. You have to say what you need to say. The more you
Hmm.
put something off, yeah, I kind of changed the conversation in my head from what it actually was. And it's like,
Absolutely.
and the farther you get away from it, it just is not good. So you just need to confront any situation you have and move on, and people will respect it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I learned recently too, like the wishy-washiness of trying to make everyone
Mm,
happy can also come off like you don't know what you're doing. But in reality, you're trying to look out for the emotions of other people, which you don't need to do. You're not in charge of people's emotions and their
yes.
reactions. You're in charge of your office and your patient and making everyone feel safe and happy there. But then people are allowed to be upset for a little bit if they need to be, and they'll be fine. So I think I was doing a little wishy-washy, just trying to make everyone happy, when really you just need to be direct and everyone will thank you for it in the long run.
100%.
Yeah.
A thousand. Easier said than done, especially for people
Absolutely.
who land in our category.
Yeah.
But I think that's why I love this so much. And we haven't even like scratched the surface. There's like management and emotional intelligence in your report. Like by the way, you should go to those emotional intelligence, because it's basically like a gas chart that's like, you land here, this is super comfortable for you from an EQ perspective, but this you struggle with. And like really look
Oh,
at it, and
okay.
it's all color coded and all the fun stuff, but
Okay.
it's next level, like
Yeah.
how you have to stretch into some of these EQ situations.
Mhm.
And I think that, as well as a leader, team members, so many times I've done disc workshops and we touch on emotional intelligence and do an entire breakout about it, and people are like, oh, I'm not supposed to respond that way. oh, I should be more aware of how people are reacting so that, are acting so that I don't react in this way. Like, it's really, really fascinating. Again, not a therapist. I'm not a behavioral specialist, but I love this stuff because the reality is most times people are spending so much more time with their staff than they are at home.
Mm-hmm.
And home you could land in a very different category than workplace you. These are very different. You wear different hats in your life, but um I love when I got your report back. I was like, God, thank God she's an I, because then we would have some really so much explaining to do.
Eyes unite. No, literally, I
Right?
I gravitate toward all eyes.
Me too. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I get you. You're my people. I can, this works. It's really
Yes.
great.
Yes.
However, people on my team are not eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and it works really well for me. Shout out Chantel. She's one of our Everbloom coaches, and she does so much behind the scenes for Everbloom. She's a D, and she keeps me exactly where I need to be.
Yep.
And I'm such an ideas visionary. And
Yep.
she's like, oh, yeah, okay. And let's finish this first. And then, and I'm not kidding. I couldn't operate without her. She is, but it works so well. You need to have a well-rounded team with all the people every single day.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And I think it makes it more fun that way too. And it just helps. There's people catch different things. So something we may let slide as an IS, a C or a D are not going to let slide. And that's the beauty of teamwork and knowing where everyone's
Absolutely.
strong suit is,
Yeah.
and how they can help, how we can all help each
I
other.
don't want to live in spreadsheets.
Yeah. No.
Like, newsflash, that
No.
I have to. It is not where I want to stay. I
Yeah.
don't love it. I will do all the creative stuff all day, every day. So I do it, but it's a stretch, right? Like, all of it's a stretch. And then I go back to my happy place, which is my eye, and we get to move on. Okay. I talked about your motivators and stressors a little bit. Is there
Yes.
anything that really resonates you from a motivator? And this was like on a special page in your report.
Yes.
Something that really stuck out to you that motivates you?
Yes. So yeah, I making a positive difference in people's lives,
Mm,
and then also creating a warm and friendly environment for my staff and my patients every day. Those were
yeah.
my kind of like motivators, I would say.
Yeah.
And then stressors were, we talked about this a little bit, but giving unpleasant feedback and
Yeah.
being objective when evaluating others. So yeah, that pretty straightforward there. And then, yeah, those are the two main ones, just giving unpleasant feedback. And even if obviously I like my whole team, but just trying to be giving objective feedback. If someone didn't do something they were supposed to, I'm allowed to talk to them about it and it's going to be okay for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, I'm just thinking from my perspective too, when I have had to hire recently, I wanted to hire everyone. I
Uh-huh.
was like, how am I going to make this decision? And then I was like talking to my husband about it. He's like, you can't hire them because you liked her shirt. I'm like, yes, I know, Dave. Okay. But I'm just saying I want to give everyone a chance. So to be objective from a hiring perspective is so difficult for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Like, those types of things that are so black and white, I struggle with.
And
I made
it's,
a very good hiring choice, but it
yes,
was a
you did.
struggle.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because I remember you telling me this, and my response was hire them all.
I know. I know. You were with me when I was going through this process, and I was like, I want everyone.
Mm-hmm.
This is very difficult. And then obviously I narrowed it down, like really narrowed it down, because everyone is so kind. They want all the
Yeah.
same things. They want to be able to thrive in a really great environment. They want, right? And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I would get off every single interview and be like, okay. And I'm like having to score them and walk through the entire process.
Yeah.
And that helped big time. But yeah, it was really interesting and I land in the eye. So it makes total sense.
Yeah. Well, it also sounds like you were set up for success though, because you were scoring them. So you already
Oh,
had objectives
yes.
in place to help you kind of get through those muddy waters that we tend to just go off of vibes, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
Which
Yeah.
vibes are very important. I think
Yes.
it's great. You want to surround yourself with good people, and then you can always teach someone something and or teach them, but you can't teach positivity. You can't teach someone to be a nice person or a good person. But once you have all those, then you have to really dive into, okay, maybe I need someone who's a D, or I need someone that's going to tell me I have to do this. So yeah, which you sounds like
Absolutely.
you already know, which is great.
Oh, yeah. I had a whole framework. Of course, I had a framework. Also, I'm
Yes,
teaching that framework. Shout out on August 5th. So, okay.
absolutely. I'll be there. Everyone
Sable.
join.
Oh, yes. I can't wait. I can't wait. Okay, Sable, can we talk about like a little bit of like seeding this new adventure? Are you comfortable with this?
Yes, let's do it. Not me getting
Okay.
nervous.
All right. All right. Tell us. And you don't even have to say everything, but
Yes.
Sable is doing the thing. Okay. So listen up, everyone.
Yes. So I've been posting on social media for 6 years now. And I went from school to a new job to a different job and really learned a lot about how to post on social media, how to make it
Mm-hmm.
easy, part of my day, how to bring in new patients, what works, what doesn't work. And I was thinking, I've had people reach out wanting to get dinner or lunch and learn about social media and how they can use it. And
Mm-hmm.
in my head, I've always been like, this is going to be helpful for you, but this is not going to be enough to kind of help catapult you to doing this on your own and feeling confident. So I came up with the idea, why don't I do a course for people that are doctors, dentists, nurses, anyone really that wants to post more online about social media, do a
Mm-hmm.
course where they can learn the ins and outs of social media, whether it's how to edit a video properly so everything looks perfect, how to make how to recreate videos with certain sounds, how to recreate
Mm.
videos to bring new patients in, how to create content to get patients to know you or people to know you and grow your page. And so I'm launching the Staller Socials Academy, and which is so
Say it
exciting.
again. Say it
The
again.
Staller Socials Academy. Yay.
Yes.
And it's for anyone that just feels like they don't have enough time to learn these basic steps to get you started and to get it into your daily routine where it's really easy. It only
Yeah.
takes 5 to 10 minutes out of your day.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's bogging you down, feel like this looming thing over you. I want to create something for you to be able to learn how to do this, and then you can take things away from it to make social media is easy, to stop paying people to do your social media so you can
Mm.
do it on your own, cut out expenses and bring patients on your own, because at the end of the day, that is what makes me happy and what has grown my practice, and I want other people to know how to do it too, because there's enough patients for everyone out there.
Absolutely. You know,
Yes.
Sable, I have learned so much from watching you and seeing what you do and how you show up so authentically. So I am so thrilled that you're doing this. I think it's incredible and I think it's so useful. And, you know, obviously this is not male or female, but I will say the females who really know that they want to show up
Yeah.
and make this happen to build trust and, you know, live their day-to-day life, whatever that looks like you get to finally walk them through that process. And this, I mean, it's so exciting. Good
Yes,
for you.
thank you. I can't wait. So it's going to be a 6-week course in September, launching the list very soon, and then I'll give a lot more
Oof.
details. But I
Mm.
truly think it's going to change. This sounds so corny, but change people's lives and give them just the access to something to make it easy and make it fun. Because there's nothing else out there like this. There are people teaching
Yeah.
courses on social media, but there's not a doctor teaching social media.
Yeah.
And I feel like I understand all the pain points of how busy we are during the day, how patient care comes first, and how people have families and everything. So how I'm able to put this into my day and create content so easily, I want to share with people, so that way all those hurdles are already, we jump over them together, and then you can just create the page that you want from there.
Oh my gosh, this is so good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Everyone needs to follow Sable. Sable, where can they follow you?
TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all the things. Braces by
Okay.
Sable everywhere.
It's the same handle everywhere. Braces by
Yes.
Sable.
Yes. So
Love it.
follow me. And yeah, if you have any questions, message me on Instagram. I usually answer there the quickest. And yeah, I'm happy to help you, but
And
I'm
also,
really
like,
excited.
guys, she answers her DMs. Just know that.
I
Like,
do.
if you are reaching out for help or your name is Cassie Kellner and you've asked her to be on your podcast, she shows up. Let me tell you, we're at round 2 at this point. Sable, thank you so much for joining me. This was so much fun. I wish we could have recorded in person, but we
I
did get to spend
know.
time together. You are simply the best. Truly, this is going to be so great. Waitlist coming soon. Braces by Sable. Make sure you guys check it out.
Absolutely. Thank you. And you're the best too.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me on The Bloom Effect, where we keep it real, keep it growing, and always keep it team first. If today's episode sparked something for you, an idea, a shift, or just a reminder that you're not alone, take a second and share it with your team or a fellow ortho leader. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss a convo, and if you're loving the show, leave a review. It helps more practices find us and join the movement. And if you're ready to bring this kind of energy into your practice, visit discovereverbloom.com to learn more about working together. Until next time, keep leading with heart, keep building with intention, and keep blooming right where you're planted.